Then on Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the Pac-12 Championship matchup between the Oregon Ducks and the Utah Utes. Huge matchup for both these teams coming up here in the Pac-12 title game. We've got a Rose Bowl appearance on the line as well as a Pac-12 title. Going to be a huge one for both these teams coming up here in Las Vegas on Friday. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Oregon beat Oregon State 38-29 last week. Huge win for the Ducks. And Oregon State, by the way, I mean, that's a pretty good football team that they played there, and overall they controlled that game, and they're 10-2 heading into this matchup. And of course, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, Utah completely dominated Oregon 38-7. That was quite a game there, and Utah controlled that from start to finish. And I mean, it's a different situation here, that's for sure. But Utah has been playing excellent. They're playing their best football of the season right now. Beat Colorado 20-13, kind of a closer game than expected, especially considering the Buffaloes are a mediocre football team. But Utah currently ranked number 14 in the AP poll. Oregon is ranked number 10. Utah is 9-3 with a 5-game winning streak. And of course, Oregon is currently got a 1-game winning streak heading into this matchup. And we'll see where both these teams stand in the college football playoff rankings coming out on Tuesday night. But as of right now, I do expect Oregon to definitely be a top 10 team. Utah kind of outside of that top 10. Currently, I think I've got Utah at number 13 and Oregon at 11. But yeah, once again, we'll see what happens with the committee. Game will be on Friday, December 3rd in Las Vegas, Nevada. 5 p.m. Pacific time is the kickoff time for this matchup. Spread's currently got Utah, so Utes are favored in this matchup. Kind of reasonable to think that, especially considering the Utes did beat Oregon 38-7 back a couple of weeks ago. But once again, this is a different game, and this is college football, and it's much tougher, I will say. I mean, playing a team twice in a season, especially, I mean, we've seen this happen where, I mean, it's pretty tough to play a team and win against a team twice in a season. And Utah, of course, I mean, even though they completely dominated Oregon, it's a totally different game, and both teams need to treat it as such. Over-under is 60.5, and FPI is going Utah 61%. Series history, Oregon leads at 23-11. Win streak is Utah by 1. Last 5, though, Oregon does lead at 3-2. Here's your stat comparison for this matchup. Oregon's got 33 points per game, 24 points allowed. 220 pass yards a game, 214 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 247 passing, 124 for rushing. And I mentioned this back in the preview that I created for the matchup a couple of weeks ago for the regular season game between Oregon and Utah. I mean, these two teams' football stats were almost identical, and it kind of remains that way. We've started to see some separation in the points per game. Utah now has got some better stats in points per game and points allowed, but overall, the stats are still pretty similar overall. Passing defense has been better for Utah than for Oregon, and rushing defense has been slightly better for Oregon than for Utah. But yeah, these stats were almost identical. If you look back a couple of weeks ago, yardage-wise, it was almost the same. And same thing for points per game. But yeah, for Utah, 35 points per game, 21 points allowed, 216 pass yard game, 218 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 199 passing, 126 for rushing. Some recent matchups, Oregon, of course, beat Oregon State 38-29. You look back to November 20th. Lost to Utah 7-38. Utah was ranked 23rd at the time. Beat Washington State by a couple of touchdowns. Beat Washington by 10 there on the road, and beat Colorado 52-29. As for Utah, they've won 5 straight. Beat Colorado 28-13. Beat Oregon 38-7. Beat Arizona 38-29. Beat Stanford on the road 52-7. That was an excellent win. And of course, beat UCLA, also a good football team there, by 20. That's kind of what ignited this hot streak for Utah. And this team is on fire going into the postseason here. They've got more momentum than Oregon does right now. But once again, it's an interesting situation when you have to play a team twice in a season. Some key points: Oregon's 10-2. They've played consistently well all season long. And I mean, for Oregon, this was a football team that was just ranked in the top 4, and they've dropped down to number 10. So we'll see how they respond there. And got beat down against Utah a couple of weeks ago. We all remember that. And this team has got talent to be a Pac-12 champion, and that was kind of what was expected. I mean, Utah was expected to be a contender in the Pac-12, but maybe not win it. Meanwhile, Oregon was expected to win it all and was the clear favorite for the Pac-12. So we'll see what happens here. But Utah 9-3, playing as good as they have all season. That's definitely going to be an advantage here. And I mean, this is once again, as I mentioned before, we've seen this trend in college football. It's a bit different than NFL. I mean, in the NFL, you can play a team 3 times in a season with postseason, and if they're in your division. And sometimes we see it be tough to beat a team twice in a season. But I mean, for college football, it is a little bit different, I will say. And for Utah here, they just beat Oregon 38-7. You're not going to be able to blow out this Oregon team twice in a season. I mean, if it does happen, I mean, take it to the bank, but it would be shocking to see a major blowout this time around. I expect it to be much closer than the previous matchup. It's in a neutral location. Utah doesn't have that home field advantage anymore. So that's why it's so interesting, and Rose Bowl is also on the line for both these teams. Obviously, Oregon has had a lot more experience making it to Rose Bowls than Utah has, so we'll see what happens there. And Oregon also has more experience winning Pac-12 titles. They just did last season. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. That's it. Let's get to the prediction here for Oregon and Utah. I'm going to go with Ducks here, 31-23. This is actually predicting an upset here. I'm going to be going Ducks by 8. That may also be more than you're expecting. But I just think the Ducks go into this game much more prepared. They know what to expect from Utah, much more than they had a couple of weeks ago when they had to go on the road in a tough environment. And it was a night game too, by the way. I mean, Utah is a tough place to play, and I think that is a place that is pretty underestimated, but it is a tough place to play in Salt Lake. So, yeah, that said, I think Oregon wins this game 31-23. They win the rematch. It's going to be mighty close. Could see both teams winning this game, and this could totally not age well, and we could see Utah blow them out again. I mean, who knows? But Oregon, I'm going to go them 55%, over under 60.5. I'm going to take the under for this game, especially if Oregon wins it. I mean, it should be the under, I would assume. I do expect Oregon to cover as well, considering Utah is favored as of right now. But yeah, we'll see what happens. One of the more intriguing games of the weekend for sure. It's going to be fun on Friday watching this game between Oregon and Utah. The rematch should be a good one. We'll be going over, or let me know your thoughts and comments below on this preview and my prediction. Let me know your score predictions in the comments below, and I appreciate you guys all watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you guys later.